that at the moment I'm walking in a garden. But if I was over on the other side of this wall, I'd be in a field. What's the difference? Plants grow in a garden? Well, there are certainly plants growing in that field too. Flowers and grass and trees. But the flowers that are growing over there are wild. Nobody planted the seeds and decided where they would grow. That's the big difference. All the plants and flowers around me here have been specially chosen and planted in a particular spot. Gardens are designed and made by people. Some gardens grow just one type of flower. What kind of garden do you think these flowers belong to? It's a rose garden. Every plant around me here is a rose of some kind. This type of garden also has a special name. I wonder if you can guess what that is. The clue here is not the flowers, but what they're growing round. Get it? It's a rock garden, and this one has a pond as well. Probably, however, the purpose of most gardeners is simply to grow flowers. Lots and lots of different, brightly coloured flowers to give a good show. This garden's been here for a long while. Everything's had time to grow and mature. But I'm now going to visit a very young garden, and the gardeners aren't so very old either, for this is the story of a school garden. The Royal School of Dunkeld is luckier than many primary schools in having a large open area of ground around it. But most of the grounds are used for playing on. There wouldn't be much chance for flowers to flourish here when many pairs of feet pound down on top of them all the time. And the grass has to be constantly cut, so even daisies and dandelions get little chance to flower for long. The children realised that if they were going to make a garden where the plants would have a chance to grow undisturbed, then they'd have to fence off a section of the grounds first of all. Inside the fenced-in area, Karen and Lindsay are taking a special interest in an even smaller section, a single square metre. So, Lindsay, tell me what you're doing with this square metre.
Well, we're trying to find as many plants as we can inside the square metre.
So, Karen, what have you found so far?
Well, we found some dandelions and some speedwell.
Right.
And we've also found some ragwort. And we found some daisies here.
Yeah.
And there's the grass itself.
Different types of grasses, yes. So far, we've looked at parts of this garden that are simply conserving or protecting the plants that were already growing here. None had been specially planted. Now we're going to see what these school gardeners have actually created. They decided they wanted to have a pond, but rather than just digging a hole anyhow, they drew a plan of the shape and size they wanted with a chalk outline on the classroom floor first of all. Once the pond was dug, they'd also have to put in a plastic lining to keep the water in, so they tested that for size as well over the floor plan. That certainly looks as though it'll be big enough. And here's the finished result of all that work, a flourishing garden pond. How deep is it, Peter?
The pond is 39 centimetres deep.
So, Douglas, apart from water in here, you've also got some plants. What's this?
It's a marshmallow gourds.
And it's in a funny type of pot with holes in it. Why is that?
So the water can get into the plant and roots can get through the holes.
And feed. So this plant has to have its roots in water, yes?
Yes.
Every class has some space in the school garden where they can grow what they want to. Primary 2 and 3 decided on sunflowers. They sowed them in pots first of all and kept them on the classroom windowsill till they were big enough to plant outside. Kirsty, why are they planting the plants beside these tall sticks?
So they don't fall over.
To support them, is it?
Yes.
And how tall do they grow?
To 3 or 4 meters.
This class obviously likes tall plants. They're also planting runner beans, which eventually will climb right up to the top of these poles. Primary 1 made a plan on paper for their flower bed first. Then they marked out the areas for the different flowers in the bed itself. To make the outlines clearer, they sprinkled sawdust over them.
Sprinkle it along. That's it. Good lad. Here's your poppy seeds.
Once the bed is marked out, they're ready to sow the seeds. They're very small, aren't they?
You hold those in your hand. There you go.
They have to try not to sow the seeds too closely together, as then the flowers won't have enough room to grow. Finally, the seeds need to be covered over with a sprinkling of earth. But some plants won't grow or ripen out of doors in Scotland. It's too cold and wet. A glasshouse can give them enough sunlight and heat to flourish. These green tomatoes will soon get red, provided they're watered regularly. The rain can't get in here, so someone has to water them daily. Primaries 4 and 5 are keen on filling their stomachs, so they've decided to grow vegetables. Some are sown as seeds. Others, like onions, are already little plants with quite long roots which have to have holes dug for them. The cabbage plants are still very small, but it won't be long before these are very much bigger. 3 months later, look at the size one cabbage has grown to. And the onions too. The cane wigwam is now covered by the climbing runner beans. And the sunflowers have grown tall too, though not yet in flower. But Primary 1's flower bed is now a mass of colour. A garden story never ends, you see, because it's alive and always changing.
Who and what lives in a garden? Is it just plants, insects and birds? Some people think there could be other hidden inhabitants.
Suppose I'll just have to keep on trying.
Must she?
Her mother was very insistent. 2 hours every day.
2 hours?
She'll only be with us a fortnight.
There's some weeding to be done. The far end of the garden.
You'll need some help.
pom, doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo. Yum, pom, doodle-doo-doo-doo-dum, pom, pom, doodle-doo-doo.
Listen.
What's that? What?
I said listen.
It's a bee.
It stopped.
What has?
That music.
Oh, I say. So it has.
2 hours, her mother said.
Oh, now look here, old girl. Doesn't do to overdo things, you know. What's this? What? What?
What? Oh, it's you.
Yes, Aunt Grace.
Shouldn't you still be,
Shouldn't she be giving us a hand here?
Oh, very well.
What would you like me to do?
Your job, soldier, is to scout out the evil weed. Then good old Uncle Cedric will launch the deadly attack.
All right. But I bet I can find more than you can.
She can have 15 minutes break, and then it's back to that practice.
Uncle Cedric, I found some.
Where are you then?
Over here, come and see, there's tons of them.
Well, don't touch anything till I've had a look at it first.
They look like weeds, Uncle Cedric.
Perhaps, but they're not. And they happen to be your Aunt Grace's favorite flowers.
I promise I won't touch anything again till you've seen it first.
Right then. Emergency over. Back to the attack.
Oh, just look at that, Uncle Cedric. Just look at that.
Oh, I say, well done, old girl.
It's the biggest one I've ever found.
Death to the enemy.
Oh, no!
What? What's that?
You mustn't.
Mustn't I?
Never.
Why ever not?
Because that's where the wee people live.
It's just a weed.
It's not a weed.
Oh, well, no, you're perfectly correct. Not a weed, it's a fungus.
It's a fairy's house.
Well, that won't save it from your Aunt Grace's hole. But anyway, at your age, you can't believe we have fairies at the bottom of the garden?
There's no fairies. What's their house doing there?
Houses sometimes have to be demolished.
I could plant it somewhere else.
Aunt Grace will still find it.
Someplace secret. She wouldn't find it then, unless you told her.
Sometimes your Aunt Grace gets a little too much of her own way around here.
You'll keep the secret.
Here, you'll need this. But be sure you find a really secret place.
There. That's you safe again for a while. If I was you, I'd find another house, right away from this garden, altogether. Somewhere wild. I suppose, though, this was all wild when you first came here. I wish I could see this place as it used to be. Someone who lives in this house.
Your wish is granted.
But you're the same size as me.
Of course I am.
Oh yes, we people can be any size you like.
Thank you for saving our home.
I was only glad I could help.
Not that it would have mattered. They don't last long anyway. See, we just magic new ones when we want them. Still, it was kind of you to think of us. That's why we granted your wish.
Both of them.
We never grant any wishes to people who aren't kind. What's your last one?
I get one more.
We always grant 3 wishes. Everybody knows that.
I wish I could play one tune properly.
You
know it.
Well, it is one of ours.
The King of the Fairies.
And now you've met his son, you will be able to play it.
Say, old girl, listen.
Oh, it's just her started practicing again.
I wish I knew whether to believe her story or not.